Today I'm going to start the video by saying that I have a new camera, but it's not an actual camera, it's a new phone because this here is my Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus, and I dropped it yesterday and it no longer works. The screen is completely munted. So this was my recording device, my phone. This has done all the videos that you have seen up until this point. I was extremely sad because I really wanted to get at least another year out of this phone, but it didn't pan out that way because my clumsy ass fingers dropped it and broke it. So that's what's happened. So the old girl's been put to rest, unfortunately, but I now have a Samsung Galaxy S10 and that's what I'm using right now. That's what you guys are seeing right now. You probably don't care, it's probably boring, but I just wanted to say that. So yes, that's what's going on. Second thing, I bought some Prismacolor Col-ERASE pencils because I have been doing a lot of soul searching, and I've been doing a lot of things to try and improve my art and trying to lift myself up to the next level, because I feel as though I am sort of a little bit stagnant and I feel as though I need to learn a few more things. So I'm going to try another technique that I have seen with a few other artists. So I'm going to give these a go and see if they're something that I could use to create some artwork with when I don't want to do the harsh black lines. So that's what this is. Today is a try something different video and see if I can progress and do art with some different supplies. I haven't opened these yet, so we'll open them up. There's 12 colors in here. So these are all the colors, and what I like about these is they've got these cool little erasers on the end, which is super handy. So I have a green, terracotta, a Tuscan red, brown, light green, a blue, light blue, black, yellow, purple, vermilion, and carmine red. So this pack set me back about $22. So I thought that was pretty cheap because if I was to buy these individually, they would have been like $4.50 individually. So I thought, well, to buy the whole packet would be the best way to go. And then I've got all these colors that I can play around with. Since I got these, I've sort of been wondering what illustration I was going to first use these on. So once again, surprise, surprise, I'm going to be starting another series. I'm just starting series left, right, and center. I'm just going with series. Sorry. It's just what I like to do. I like to start something. So I know I've got a bit of, I feel as though I've got a little bit of structure when I have a heap of series that I just keep rolling through and doing stuff. So what I've decided to do with these first use of the Prismacolors is with this series that I have come up with. I've decided, I was looking through my books the other day, putting them away into the house, and that we moved into a couple of months ago, just finally getting through some boxes, and I came across my Brothers Grimm book. Now I've had this book for a lot of years. It's every single fairy tale that the Brothers Grimm put out, and it's all the original writings of how they worded everything. And it's dark, it is the true fairy tales, and they're dark. There are some really dark shit in a lot of these fairy tales, even like with the Seven Dwarfs and Hansel and Gretel, even Cinderella. These are all the original ones before they churched it up for the kids in today's age. So yeah, good read. It's extremely weird, and that just tickles my fancy. It's gonna be a very long series. I'm going to be going through all of the fairy tales and then drawing a particular scene from all of the stories, then just giving you a brief rundown of what the story was all about. Now, I've already read one of the stories which I'm going to do, and the first one that I am going to be doing is called The Frog King or Iron Henry. So I've already read that one. There's only a couple of pages, and what gave me the idea for this illustration, because I've already got an idea of what I'm going to do, is there was already an illustration in the story, and it's of the young girl picking up the frog and just like with her two fingers and just going, ugh, ew, and she had to cut it up to her room. So that's the image that I want to redraw today for this video. I suppose we will get sort of planning and sort of work out how I'm gonna draw this. Alright, so I'll get the sketch pad and let's decide how I'm going to draw this young girl. Sort of looking to sort of want her looking down. She's a little hunched over. She's gonna have a nice little pretty dress off the shoulder, I'm thinking. And she's going to be holding this frog up with her two fingers by its leg. It's going to be hanging down here, and the look on her face is going to be of absolute disgust. But I'm only going to draw down just a little bit. I don't know what to do with this arm yet. I sort of want her on another 3/4 pose, looking this way. Yeah. Or I don't know if I want to make her facing this way. Maybe I'll just try something. Maybe she has her head tilted down. Froggy leg. That'll be the froggy body like that. I think her head she might be tilted down a bit too much in the head, so we might bring her facial features up a bit, so her eyes and her nose is there, and she's got this like look on her face, like, oh my god, I can't believe it. Touching this thing, ew. Because like, let's face it, frogs are pretty damn gross. They're cute as hell, especially the green tree frogs we have here. They're cute as hell, but I can't touch them. They're slimy, and plus you burn the skin with the acid in your fingers. So she can have this worried look on her face. Wow, that was a bit loud. So she'll have a crown because in the story it's mentioned that she has a crown because she is the princess. And then we'll show a bit of the dress. Coming down, and we're gonna give her some curly hair. Some ringlet hair. Might even have the frog like bending around looking at her with this look on his face with his little mouth open, just like, bitch, put me down. I think I'm ready to tackle this. What do you guys think? You think I'm ready? I don't even really know. What Prismacolor am I going to use? I am thinking, because this is, to me, this has got a bit of a dark feel. It's princessy. I wonder what the Tuscan red will be like. So I think this is my choice to do the sketch and the outline in the Tuscan red today. The paper that I am using today for this illustration is the let's see if I can pronounce this. Araldo di Piolo? Anyway, it's the wonderful paper that Chantel of Darkest Raven Designs gifted me, and I wanted to try out the watercolor one this time and see what it was like. So the story of the Frog King, or Iron Henry, is that there was a king that had 3 daughters, and one of the daughters was more beautiful than the others, which was the youngest one. Now, her favorite toy was a golden ball that she played with every day. Now, she loses this ball down a well, where this ugly frog comes up and says to her that he will retrieve this golden ball for her if she becomes his companion. So the girl's just like, sure, totally, whatever, just get my goddamn ball. So the frog gets the ball, and when he gives it back to her, she runs off back to the house, absolutely happy, and completely forgets all about the frog. Now he's yelling out to her saying, you know, young girl, come back, you know, we had a deal, basically. So the next day rolls around and they're sitting at the dinner table, and while they're eating, there's a knock at the door, and it was the ugly frog. And the king basically says to the little girl, because the frog tells the king all about the deal that they had, and he tells the little girl, a promise is a promise. But she was absolutely terrified. She was frightened of this ugly, hideous frog. She basically had to feed him, take care of him, take this ugly frog into her bed, and she just did not want to. In complete frustration, though, she completely lost her shit and threw this frog up against the wall as hard as she could. And then all of a sudden, he turns into a handsome prince. Now, he goes on to tell her that he was put under a spell by a witch, and all is forgiven because the frog is now a handsome man. So the next morning, the carriage is waiting, and they basically drove off into the sunset to live a happy life. And as they're driving off, they could hear this cracking noise, and it was all these bands around his heart that were breaking from this curse that was lifted by being with this princess. I only assume, because the story gets a little bit confusing, and I do feel as though there is a lot of things left out of the story to, you know, like, why did he have bands around his heart? And there's a lot of questions that after reading the story, I was like, okay, it doesn't explain a lot of things. But anyway, that's just a quick rundown of the story. So this is a little bit unusual of an illustration for me because I had to draw a young girl. So it was extremely daunting to have to draw a character that actually resembles a young girl. So this in itself was extremely challenging for me, and to actually draw her quite pretty. In the final piece though, as you will see at the end, I do feel as though a lot of her features get a little bit lost when I go back over them, and she sort of turned, it works in my favor though, because she does turn more into a child, because she is supposed to be a child, a young girl. But I struggled with the hands, and there was quite a bit of struggle with this one, because I was a little bit out of my comfort zone with this, which is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to push myself out of this comfort zone that I have created for myself, and trying to become a little bit more diverse. And I will never give up the creepy horror that I like to draw, but it's nice to sort of sit back and take a step back and just draw something that is quite okay, but there will always be a bit of a dark taint to my artwork. Even if I do draw something nice, even if I do, there's always something a little bit off about the pieces that I do draw. Her hair, like I've said in the past videos, I do struggle with hair. Hair is probably one of my biggest weaknesses, and I really tried to get this hair as curly as I could and try and keep trying to keep the same sort of curls all the way through it. This in itself was a huge challenge for me, and once again, it's something that I've got to work on. And to not want to bring the black liner into it was really, really hard. I ended up just leaving the Prismacolor pencil with some of the outlines, but a lot of it I did go over with a sort of a browny, orangey fine liner, just to sort of make things pop a little bit and just give some more character to her features. But with the frog, because I wanted to make the frog a darker type of character, because he is the one that's had this spell put on him and he is quite ugly, I wanted to bring him out a little bit, so I ended up doing him with the black liner. I must admit, it was extremely fun to draw something a little normal, and I was in the end, I don't mind this piece. There's a lot of things I have to work on, and I'm fully aware of that, but I had an extremely great time doing this piece. And this actually took me quite a while, because I wasn't used to working with the Prismacolors, and it was just a little bit daunting, because I really wanted to make this piece work. So this was an all-day project that I tackled, and I am quite happy with the results. Not 100% happy, but I think I'm making a bit of progress, and I'm starting somewhere to sort of branch out and try to do some different stuff than what I normally do. But as you can see, her facial expressions, I tried to capture the icky sort of she's freaking out that she's holding this frog, and then he, in return, I wanted to make him a little bit grumpy and a little bit angry that she's carting him up the stairs by one leg because she's so grossed out. So I made him with his mouth open and his throat is blowing up because he's just so cranky. So like a usual frog will just blow up their throat. He's just cranky. So yeah, I did enjoy doing the little frog, the little ugly frog. I do like him. He's probably my favorite part of this illustration. But I ended up going through and I sort of wanted to add a little bit of shine. So I ended up just putting a bit of silver Sharpie on the crown and on her dress and in the flowers of the dress, and then I put it into the bottom of the dress as well, and I just went through and did some dots of white as well just to make things pop a little bit. But yeah, like I said, all in all, I am quite happy with this piece. Her eyes are not the best. Once again, like I said at the beginning of this video, a lot of things got lost in the lining of it, and one thing was her eyes, and I sort of suck at eyes, so that's another thing I have to work on as well. But hopefully you enjoyed this illustration, and hopefully you enjoyed this series that I have created, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.